against peaceful people, and you just walk around with a badge and a gun, you're just like me, but a badge.
Well, because I was thinking that I knew a guy who wanted to run for sheriff, and he's an ANCAP, and he was like, "How can you do that?" Well, so you know what it'd be like? It would be like me just deciding how my officers would work, and it would be very permissive on a lot of issues, rather than just going and indicting everybody under the sun.
Yeah, no, it would be great. Even if it is a conundrum, it's way better than having a statist as the sheriff. Like, oh no, you're compromising your principles by participating in the quote state or being it, but really, you're just making it better by being better than the other competition.
If there was a state full of ANCAPs, would it necessarily be a state?
Yeah, it seems like an impossibility.
It's a paradox.
It is a paradox. That's why we're doing the State Free Project.
Yeah.
State Free Project is a effort to move 20,000 people to New Hampshire to make it as free as possible.
Isn't it Free State?
It's State Free Project. That's statefreeproject.com. You can learn more about the State Free Project.
All right. I'll stay tuned to the State Free Project. Have y'all thought about changing up the bumper music a bit?
Yes, we have thought about that. And what Derek wants to do is get control over it so he can actually play the bumper music live from here.
Oh, wow.
But it'd be more work.
What software does LRN use?
LRN uses it's a 12-inch birch wood with a unicorn tail inside. And that's what they use to orchestrate the whole thing.
What?
It's a magic wand. I think Ian has it in his side drawer. He waves it around and says incantations. And LRN uses Shoutcast, I believe.
Because my radio station uses a great program called Rivendell. It's a Linux-based free open software. I forget what the name is.
Open source.
Open source, yes. And we use it because we're a nonprofit at the radio station I work at, and it's absolutely amazing. You can do live stuff and
LRN.fm. That's Facebook.lrn.fm.
It is flaming freedom.
This
summer.
Hey, Remington, you asked a question while we were away on our trip to the market. Can you be a libertarian and a cop?
Yeah, can you be a libertarian and a police officer or a sheriff or something like that?
What do you think?
Well, like I was saying, for our audio listeners on LRN, that they didn't get to hear, was the fact that you can be. I think so. Because if you're like very permissive in the way that you do things, you're not just arresting everybody under the sun, and you protect people. You do what the job is just there for, to protect people. Stay within the means. Yeah, probably.
No, definitely, because I host another show called Cop Block Radio, and we had a regular caller who was a police officer, cockroach, whatever you want to call him, in Texas, called Straight Razor. And his problem was that he was too moral. He was a libertarian cop, and he wouldn't enforce victimless crimes laws. So if he was called to go out for a drug bust, he wouldn't do it. And the problem is, that's how you get fired.
The job is to do the drug bust.
Yeah, exactly. So he didn't agree with it. He wasn't going to participate in evil. And I think a lot of the people in the department looked up to him for it. They had respect for him, but ultimately he had to be fired because he wouldn't do what they wanted. Now he drives for Uber.
Remington's talking about an elected position.
Yeah, like a sheriff, because sheriffs are elected officials, and the county elects them and then anoints them, and they have full say over the law enforcement.
I could see that. I've heard of people fantasizing that they could kick the feds out if they ran for local sheriff, because apparently, according to some piece of paper somewhere, it says that the sheriff is more powerful than the federal government. But
Well,
I
I
have a
want
hard
to.
time believing.
In the county, in the county next to mine, Midland County, they're doing that. They're kicking the federal government out.
Really?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, they were tired of immigration not working and stuff like that, so they're taking it into their own hands.
Do they no longer use the Federal Reserve note?
Oh, they still do. They were just kicking the federal government
That
out
is a
of law
private bank.
enforcement.
It's not the government.
Okay.
Well, what I want to see is people subscribing to like a monthly service where if you're in trouble, you call up the policing agency and they arrive with high def cameras all over the place, cameras everywhere, and defensive weapons.
I see that already happening with Cell 411. Have you used this app, Remington?
No, I have not. Explain.
It's free. Get cell411.com, I think is the website.
It's a dispatch for emergency services that is open for anyone in the community or to different groups. But I want to see something that like you sign a contract with someone like, hey, I'm paying you to come. It's like AAA, but for dangerous situations.
Well, what's happening already, though, Steven? So, first of all, there's this app, Cell 411. Anyone can download it. It's free. You can set up alerts so that if you're pulled over or you see someone being arrested for various different things, you can set up a couple of push button alerts. When you see this stuff happening, you can start live streaming, and it sends out to a group of people that you predetermine. So I've got a list of people. If I'm arrested, bam, they're all going to get the message. But now what's happening is that there are agencies who are making it their business to respond to Cell 411 calls,
Yes.
and they will charge. You could, the theory is going to be that you will be able to pay right in app with Bitcoin to these agencies who are volunteering to save you,
Oh, great. So you say, I need help.
and they can see the alert.
They give you a quote or something, or you put Bitcoin in there.
Some of this
Monthly subscription is just a better model for everyone, though.
Yeah.
that I saw in this book by the wonderful Joe Jarvis. It was a very similar system.
Anarchy in New England?
Yes.
With the police, where they have subscriptions to the police.
That's right.
Yeah, they would have to do it because of the finances of it. They need a continuing stream so that they can put the risk, they can spread out the risk instead of like they can't just be paid right on the spot. I think it would be better if there was a subscription.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see multiple competing models, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do agree.
Hey, something that happened to me this week, I feel like I got to mention it. It's on my chest. A friend of mine died, and it's pretty weird. He died, I think, of a heroin overdose. And I don't know. I just wanted to give a moment to that and I don't know. I don't have a message about don't do heroin.
I have a message.
What?
Don't do heroin.
Well, wait a minute. I'm not saying go do heroin, obviously, but I feel like it could be safe to be a heroin user in a world without drug prohibition. If you could go to the store and it could be pure, or you could know the dosage, I don't see why someone couldn't safely use heroin the way they safely use aspirin or allergy medicine or anything else.
I think like safely using heroin would be equivalent to like drinking to excess often, but not blacking out. It's like,
why couldn't it be the same as smoking a joint at the end of every night?
Isn't it highly addictive?
Yes.
Doesn't it completely incapacitate you?
For the moment that it's affecting you.
I mean,
if you're able to get it.
I'm coming from like, there's so many better drugs that are way less dangerous, in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, either way, fine. Like,
who knows if it's
sure,
better.
if there was no war on drugs, and you get super measured heroin, like, but that's just not the case. That's not how it is. Like, until then, how about let's not have all our friends dying because they're taking heroin?
And isn't heroin a big problem in New Hampshire?
I haven't seen it be a big problem. Everyone's
See, during the election, there was it was a big uproar, or the primary there. It was a big uproar there.
they always talk about that. I mean, there just really aren't that many problems in New Hampshire, so I guess that's one they choose. And the people are all coming up from Boston and Massachusetts.
There's probably a problem, like wherever heroin is happening and people are dying, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, it's not unique to New Hampshire.
But I think what the big news story was in New Hampshire was that they made Narcan more available for just any old person. So with a prescription. So I could just go to my doctor and say, I have a friend who uses heroin. I'd like to have a Narcan pen, which is the thing that
Narcan revives someone if they're basically dead from heroin.
yeah. And so if you inject someone with this while, within enough time after they overdose, you can bring them back to life. So it's just like the scene in Pulp Fiction.
Well, also about heroin, like forget about how dangerous it is. If you're my friend, like I probably don't want to be hanging out with you when you're on heroin. Like,
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
it's not good. Like do some better drugs. If you're taking MDMA around me, I will be supremely pleased. Or all kinds of other drugs,
But, there's some people that you don't like hanging around when they're drunk because they're act a certain way.
Yeah.
But
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
I
you're
don't know.
not yourself when you're drunk or high or
Unless you are.
I don't know about that. You are a.
No, I was just quoting the propaganda.
It's a certain state that you use chemicals to achieve.
Who knows?
Still in your head.
We'll be back.
Nice.
Free Press Publications
I'll
is an
turn this down.
independent alternative media and
Meow,
publishing
meow,
company
meow, meow.
founded in June 2009.
So,
Heroin.
I think heroin's fine. Honestly, I'm going to go out there and say it. Heroin is fine, but
I think you're
it's
being-
extremely addictive. And if
No.
people had a reliable source that they could verify for themselves and know the purity and know the strength, then it would be fine.
I think you're part of the problem.
No, man.
No, you are. You
No.
are part of the problem. You're saying that it's fine when really it would be better if people just weren't using it. It'd be better if
don't know
people were
that.
saying,
drugs like heroin or crack or things like that. Those are drugs that I would force my friends to stop before they even started.
you even said you didn't want to hang out with these people because they were on heroin, and now you're saying it's fine. It's not. It's not what we want as a society of people.
I didn't hang out with him when he was high on heroin.
I mean, it is not encroaching on their freedom to say, don't do this, to educate them.
Huh?
It is not going against their freedom to educate them on the risks.
I don't know. I guess my thing is I heard that the inventor of heroin was also the father of modern surgery. He was addicted to heroin for many years until he weaned himself off with methadone, which he also invented. And he led a long, healthy, productive life, keeping his heroin habit a secret. I feel like if my friend had access to the same things that this doctor had, then he would be alive.
I don't believe that. Like, this guy was a very regimented, very high willpower kind of guy who was scientific, and he was a doctor in the 19th century. And now all the people that are using heroin are just kids who went to government school, and they don't have that kind of structure, and they're not doing it for like a great purpose of scientific discovery or anything.
Yeah.
They're just
It's-
shooting up on the street.
Right.
And it's totally different. These people wouldn't be able to resist like he did. I mean, some people would, sure. Some people would be able to achieve it. I know people who work very effectively on all kinds of drugs.
I mean, even without like a state to monitor the drug war and things like that, I still think that it would be a big problem because there would still be people stealing things to pawn off to get their money. There would still be breaking in, and people would still die from getting shot by homeowners and things like that. I had someone break into one of my houses just for crack stuff. I mean, it's terrible.
Did it gun in the house?
No, but they stole some firearms from another house.
Did he steal any crack?
We didn't have any crack at that house, no. but he tore up the place, so terrible.
He didn't find the crack safe.
No, I saw his mugshot though. He could steal my crack. It's sad what it does to these people. But
Yeah, don't reward crime.
Well, you don't have to reward him, but you could pay him.
All right. Well,
Hey,
I
I'm
don't
hearing-
all these. I don't like all this worship of military people and cops and
Drug addicts.
sucking
and-
cops' dicks.
Yeah.
I want to worship very virtuous people. Like
I
I
hear
want
ya.
to tell people to read books instead of use heroin. Like it's not fine. Books are fine.
It's a choice. It's a different choice, and I don't like the stigma that it has. I think it's on.
I think it's just like sex in schools or in general. If you teach a kid, if abstinence is always the worst way to teach.
Oh. Yeah.
But like if you teach drug abstinence, then they're going to go, oh, I've never tried this. If you educate them and say you don't have to not do this.
Discover satellite costs with the
Well,
chip
that's,
in on the right side of the page. LRN.FM.
Given people can measure the purity of their heroin, and they can get, there's definitely ways of doing that. And if they really wanted to, they could. Why aren't they doing it? Would they be able to actually live a normal life if they were able to measure this heroin? I don't think
I
so
think
because
so.
they're not doing it.
Well, maybe it's just not available to them. In places like the Netherlands, this is a government program that I actually support. The government actually dispenses heroin and safe needles in a place that's open at regular hours so people can come in, use heroin safely, and then be on their way. And this is a way for, it's not a good life. It's a shameful thing. These people are ashamed of themselves. It's not like you aspire to be a heroin addict, but if you are addicted to a substance like heroin, the best thing that could happen is for you to be able to live safely until you're able to get yourself off of it.
Okay, so you don't like the stigma around it because it makes life worse for people who are on heroin, and it makes it harder for them to be out in public and get help themselves.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway from my friend's death is I'm mad that his family isn't talking about it. I'm mad that more people aren't opening up about heroin or about drug addiction at all, when I feel like that may have saved him. If people were more willing to have conversations that are like, hey, heroin's fine. Like what Remington said, if you say to someone, don't do something, like DARE is like, oh, here's pot. Pot's so bad for you. And then you try pot and you're like, pot's fine. Wow. Other drugs must be fine. And experimenting with something like heroin, I know it's not good, but I would want I would want the same program in the US. I would advocate for that.
Well, I definitely want safe spaces to have drugs.
I would not. Well, I would.
I had it privately in my coffee
would you
shop.
want to stop someone from offering that to the public?
Well, I don't believe in just giving it to them. I think that I'm a steadfast believer in interventions.
Okay.
I mean, you could possibly have at that place in the Netherlands. Do they give them information on how bad heroin is?
I'm
Did
gonna
you-
say,
Imagine
I'm gonna
so.
assume. Yeah, I'm gonna assume so, but I don't know. So, what difference does it make?
I mean, I think if there are going to be these places, they shouldn't just dispense out heroin. I think there should be the opportunity for them to say, "Hey, do you want some help? We can give it to you right now."
Well, what do you think is going?
Like?
What do you think is going to make it better? Like, I think filling people's minds with other things that are virtuous is going to make more of an impact than telling them how bad heroin is.
Well, see, that's what we can help you. Like there are certain therapies that really do work to get your mind off of it, and then there's drugs you can prescribe to keep you off of the withdrawal. So when the withdrawals start going away and you don't have this need anymore, you can start loosening the therapy, and then you could look at your past life and say, "Wow, I'm not going to go back to that."
Is that what they want, or do they want to look cool and feel good? Like,
I think they just want to feel good. From what I understand, it's like the best high there is, but it's also really bad and dangerous. Watch Train Spotting.
The best tide there ever is listening to Flaming Freedom.
Yeah.
Ah.
Hey, speaking of,
Oh my God.
the final story of the night. Parents are stunned after hearing a girl had sex with as many as 25 boys in the school bathroom.
Hey, that was me, and I'm not a girl. Okay.
Like, how did it happen?
And three of
Like,
those
where was
weren't
everybody
boys.
at?
Sex in the school bathroom. Lee County Sheriff's investigators look.
I remember people having sex in my school bathroom.
15-year-old girl at South Fort Myers High School having sex with about 24 boys.
Surveillance video actually shows these boys going into the bathroom. 4 in Your Corner's Lisa Greenberg is live outside of the school with what she's learning about this
Wow,
case.
they know how to make
Lisa?
news people want to watch.
Patrick and Amy, this is not only the talk of South Fort Myers High School, it was also caught on camera. Students say it was recorded on the app Snapchat and sent around the
And it
entire
turns out that the school was actually just filming for their
Shock.
film club and the new
Disbelief.
porn segment.
Concern. Sad.
4 words that come to mind when Eric Struble, a father of 2 15-year-old girls, hears what's in this incident report. It says a 15-year-old South Fort Myers High School girl admitted to having sex with multiple male students in the bathroom at the school. The report saying 25 male students were identified going inside the bathroom during the time frame the girl was inside. Students say it happened in the main bathroom on the 2nd floor.
Like, how did it happen? Like, where was everybody at?
18-year-old Patislan Cato goes to South Fort Myers High School. He says
He's
everyone
pissed
at
as
school
hell that
has
he
been
missed
talking
it.
about the incident and heard it involved some
Maybe
of the
he's gay.
It seems to happen more, but you don't really think it's going to happen,
Yeah,
where
if
you're
he's
at.
gay, he
What's more
wants to be in there.
shocking?
There's
I heard
25
a
guys
video
with
was around,
hard-ons.
but never really saw it or anything. It's just like
I saw the video, but
I
I
didn't
didn't.
see
Another
it. No,
student
I
tells
wasn't
me it
there.
was
No, that wasn't
recorded
me.
and sent around the school on Snapchat.
Snapchat allows you to take 10-second videos of whatever you please. And once you decide who you want to send it to, they can only open it once, and then it's supposed to disappear.
But the
But
student
does
said
it?
some of the videos were saved.
It's our job to protect our children and to, teach them right from wrong.
The incident happened after school
Thanks,
hours,
Guy.
but Struble says parents
Why don't you provide
still
a
should have been told.
better
Somebody
place for
should
them to
have
have sex instead of like,
Notified or been
you can't
aware
have
of what
sex,
was
don't do
going
it.
on,
So they
but
go in the
Meanwhile,
bathroom on the
students wonder
second
how
floor.
this
Yeah,
even
that's awful.
happened in the first place.
Like, how about
you
some
would think there would
beds?
be more.
There's a chilling part to this story that's not mentioned in this news report.
School district spokesperson tells me no one has been arrested. The students
That I know this. That girl was once sex trafficked.
Lisa Greenberg?
What?
That girl that was in that was the one in the bathroom. She was sex trafficked,
That would make sense.
and it just the boy probably pressured her, and then more and more just kept coming in. I mean, it's really terrible taking advantage of someone, and that's what I think happened here. It's because when you have someone that's been through that trauma, it's hard to slip them back into it.
You mean it's easy to slip them back into it?
Yes, excuse me. Thank you, Derek. It's easy to slip them back into it.
This drug war is so ridiculous, and the real problem is human trafficking. Like there's slavery all over the world.
Yeah, I heard there are more slaves in the U.S. today than there were during slavery.
Then that's not counting people in prison.
Well, no.
I'm sure, like in Manchester, there's all these like discreet places. There are slaves in our community right now.
Yeah, that
Sex
we don't
slaves.
know about.
Yeah, well, they're like statistically guaranteed to be all over the place. I've been reading articles about like people, like stewardesses and people on planes, being trained to spot like human trafficking now, and it's happening all the time.
I mean, but it's not necessarily hard to spot it either. I mean, you just got to see the signs. More than if it's a single man or a single woman and just of 3 girls, you got to see what they look like and how they are dressed and things like that. I mean, but who do you report it to? I mean, if you truly believe in a stateless society, who do you report it to, and how do you stop it, or will you be
Go up
encroaching
to
on
them
freedom?
your damn self. You don't report it to anybody. You go up to their house. I think that's how it was revealed when there was a recent guy in the news who noticed that there was a woman like banging on the window or something. She had an opportunity to get away from the guy. Like she was.
In Cleveland.
Yeah, that sounds right. And the neighbor thought, oh, this is a totally normal dude. I see him out playing with his son or something. But it turns out he was keeping this woman captive in his home. and she was there's
3 women actually.
3 women. Wow, it's amazing. And so he took it into his own hands. He didn't report it to anybody. He went up to the door and freed that woman himself.
Wow.
No, he called the cops. I remember that
Called the
story.
cops. Well, in my version,
Well, my grandmother tried to do that once. Maybe I'll tell the story.
your grandmother what?
Tried to free a woman from a perceived slavery situation.
Did she use a gun?
She used her voice and reason.
The gun of reason.
I'll have to tell you the story on the other side.
It's your
Coming up.
man.
My grandmother is Ayn Man.
You can't take my name.
Ayn Randy.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had
I love My Magic Mud.
down My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains.
I love
so
when
paid
that ad
attention
comes on
when I brushed the
during Flaming Freedom whenever we're talking about like rim jobs or
That is my favorite act, I will say.
Rim
Oh, really?
Jobbington.
Mhm.
You like giving it or receiving it?
Receiving.
Yeah.
I mean, like, come on.
It's been like a year. No, it's 2. Been 2 years. I can remember. Been 2.
Well, you could get a dog. Haha.
I'm not that adventurous.
You at least keep it well groomed. You got to keep it well groomed. Then people will want to
Right.
be down there.
Well, see, that's not my problem. It's just guys in general. I can't ask. You'll get lynched.
You can't ask.
Oh, you could ask. You
Oh,
could
no,
ask.
So I get big fat guy, like creepy fat guy wanted to come over here. I'm not.
No. You don't want that.
No. Yeah.
Don't let
Yeah, it's hard out here. It's hard. It's hard to be
How
hard.
far do you have to drive?
How far would I have to drive?
Yeah.
The last one I saw was like 200 miles away. That was like actually
He,
attractive.
he is really out in the middle of
Holy-
nowhere. Really, real West Texas. Where are you? Odessa?
I'm in Garden City, which is like east of Odessa, east of Midland, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, that's still way out in the middle.
So I lived in Philadelphia where the average
Mexico's closer than 200 miles.
Well, the average grinder trip in Philadelphia was about 5 to 15 minutes. You know, they're around the block or around the corner, and it's an easy walk. When I moved to New Hampshire, it was like everything was over an hour because I was out in Keene, which is basically Vermont.
Not so in Portsmouth.
No, not the case in Portsmouth.
Plenty of
fortunately.
guys in Portsmouth,
But
especially in the summer.
yeah. But anyway, it was a disaster. And I thought, oh my God, I'll never drive more than an hour just for sex. But then, of course, it's like, okay.
Oh, I gotta have sex.
Yeah.
I got desperate once and I drove 200 miles.
Drove 200 miles.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Where's the worst place you ever had sex? We just talked about sex in a bathroom, Stephen. Do you have
Worst place
worst
I
place
ever
you
had sex?
Yeah.
I got a blowjob on top of a dryer at a party once.
Cool.
Clothes
That
dryer
actually sounds
by a
pretty
woman.
awesome.
It was like the bottom of the barrel.
Wait, that was you? I never knew it was you.
Real sex. Where's the worst place?
Yeah.
I had sex once in the middle of a big party we were having in my house.
Wow.
Like this girl that I had been dating showed up late in the party, and apparently I was smashed or something. Anyway, we ended up having like
good to see you.
we ended up having very loud sex, like right in the middle of the party, and everyone could hear.
Yeah, that's great.
That's like, I guess, the opposite of the worst place.
well, because you're into the exhibitionism of it all, right?
The worst place for me was my dad's truck when he found me.
Oh,
Oh man,
he found you.
what were
having
you sitting
sex?
on the gear shift?
No. Well, no. Yes, actually, that was one of 2 times that I have taken in me.
You are kidding me. You
Oh.
sat on your dad's gear shift?
No, not my dad. No. It was his friend's son.
Was
No.
it hot?
Yes, very. He was part of the football team.
Was it in the Oh,
It was the
Was it
back seat.
awkward? Like when
was
you
it in the bed of the
asked to
truck or
borrow
in the
the key?
cab?
It was a 2-door, or like a back. It was the back seat of the truck.
All right.
It was big.
I had sex in the front seat of a Camry.
Help get LRN.FM into more
In the
ears.
driver's
Visit
seat.
promote.lrn.fm for a
That
free
was
bumper
pretty
sticker,
hard.
flyers, banners, graphics.
On the floor of a radio studio.
LRN.FM.
On the roof of a skyscraper in San Francisco. Ow!
Welcome back to Flaming Freedom.
Oh, this song blew my mind at the Keenvention dance party that we had. Parties are way better in New Hampshire. They're just all kinds of free and great.
Should that be on an advertisement? Parties are better in New Hampshire.
You know where parties are better in New Hampshire, that's right. No, never heard of it? It's right between New York and Canada.
New Hampshire, who wants to go to England? I don't know.
That's Old Hampshire, actually. Thank you.
Old Hampshire. It's Hampshire.
Old Hampshire. How's our waveform tonight, Derek?
It's a little all over the place. I'm a little confused about it right now, to be honest. I think we're pretty good. I mean, we're not peaking or anything, if that's what you're concerned about.
So,
what?
Are you going to hand out something? I was thinking about this girl that was getting nailed by 25 guys.
Yeah.
And there's these videos of guys getting nailed by 25 guys. And now it makes me wonder, like, what kind of abuse did they receive that caused them to want to do this?
Probably none. Probably
It's money.
Awesome.
Oh, money? They want to do it for money. Well,
See, one of the things I've learned is that gay men enjoy it a lot more than straight women do.
Enjoy what?
Like the more men.
Oh,
added to the scenario. Yeah, it's something I've noticed. Gay men are more promiscuous than women. If you really look at it,
they don't have to protect their eggs.
If you analyze a gay man's activity and a woman, you will see that the man has more. Because I think men are less prudish about it. They're less womeny about it.
Forget the follow their activity. Just think about it rationally. Guys have semen, so they're supposed to impregnate everything they can, have as much sex with as many partners as possible. Just genetically, that's good for the pool. And then women, conversely, have eggs, and they got to protect them. They got to make sure that they keep them safe, and they have a partner who's going to help nourish them. So they don't want to be around a bunch of guys getting impregnated.
A guy can impregnate a woman and then go impregnate 1,000 other women.
Right.
But a woman can only really, can't have too much sex while you're pregnant.
She's got to be selective, is what I'm saying. She's going to need a lot of resources to raise a baby. And I'm not saying she thinks about this consciously, but biologically, I'm sure this is contributing to the reason why.
Well, if that's a general rule, I have definitely seen exceptions to the rule. One time in college, this one girl who was older than me she kept coming on to me and saying that she was a sex addict. And she had to have sex. And I didn't even realize at the time that she was coming on to me.
She's a maniac.
Telling me information about
Maniac on the floor.
She is a maniac.
I love that song.
That was a great French class. She's a maniac on the floor.
I had a history class that had a coach in. Like the coach was the history class, and he was the coach of the powerlifting team. And I think he was flirting with me. Now that I look back at it,
hot.
Now that I remember that day, he grabbed my ass for 4 hours
and then bit me over the desk. Yeah, I think he was flirting with me. No, but he was my favorite coach and favorite teacher, and because I love history. So
would you have had a relationship with your coach?
I wanted to. I thought about that.
Do you think you would have had the ability to consent to a relationship with your coach?
At that time, I was very mature from a very young age. So yeah, I knew what I was getting into.
At what point do you think that you had the ability to consent to a relationship with your coach?
At what point? Is this a serious question? Like at what age would you consider yourself ready for that?
I'm talking about in this specific instance. Yeah. With you.
I was well past, because it was when I was 16. So I was in the prime.
All right. Well, in that case, if a 16-year-old can consent to sex with a coach, why do you want to harm that Sandusky guy?
Because that was unconsensual.
Okay. 25 years later.
I'm just saying it was unconsensual. I mean, consensual is fine. I mean, I think.
Fair enough. Yeah, not consenting is not consenting.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a 16-year-old,
and I don't know about these like statute of limitations on people's crimes. Like, I don't understand why that makes any sense.
Well, I'm just saying, like, where's the evidence after 25 years? People make stuff up all the time.
Yeah.
Especially social justice warriors.
Yeah, I see a lot of that with Bill Cosby stuff. Like, I know everyone's like, oh, he's old. It's fun to drag him through the mud. He's not going to defend himself. Like, how weak could you be picking on an old man? Like, if you really had serious allegations of a crime or of rape, I mean, seriously, you bring him forward right away. There's no excuse for being like, oh, well, I was afraid he was going to hurt me. He had so much power. Like, get real. He was the Jell-O guy.
Jell-O pudding pops.
Yeah, exactly.
The new Coke
wants to know, how hot is Caesar from 1 to 10? And I'm like,
Who
the hell is Caesar?
Julius Caesar?
Yeah, he plays Caesar on the TV show Spartacus. And I guess I can pull up the picture of him.
I would say by definition 10. Well, didn't the Romans name the numbers after how hot you were, and Caesar was 10? That was the scale.
I would have loved to live in like Roman and Greek times, because how homoerotic that culture was.
Well, I think that our culture is more homoerotic, and I'm just going to assert that so that we can make it so in the future.
Well,
and you would also get to lay on the ground while you eat. Wouldn't that have been nice? You know, they did that. They laid on their side and like a cat lounging with grapes.
It's like a perfect. And there's a picture that someone made, and it was like, will they live or die? And so I have the thumbs up, thumb down. It's like, what happens if I do this? And they had like put his finger through like his other finger making a hole, and then the battle just started going into hardcore homosexual sex. Like, why didn't we do this earlier?
How did we not think of this?
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant. We'll sell way more tickets.
Yeah.
And now they won't die from killing each other except from HIV.
Yeah. Have you noticed it's always the attractive people that die in like gladiator fights?
Well, it's because those are the only ones you notice dying. Because no one's looking at the ugly people.
Well, ugly people need some love.
Well, our culture could be way more homoerotic. You got to take your shirt off, Remington.
I'm modest.
Yeah, well, you have pants on.
Well, you don't know that.
Yeah, we can't prove it.
Well, I'll assume you both have no pants and pants at the same time.
I can confirm I do not have pants.
Heisinger's pants?
Yeah, that's Heimlicher's pants.
Heimlicher.
For all of you listening out there, Remington Justice Hernandez has no pants.
Good.
I'm going to grab that. It's a good soundbite.
Yeah, that is a good soundbite.
Oh, if you pay me, I'll say anything. No. I basically say anything for free.
Ha ha ha. Yeah, that was like with me taking my shirt off.
Yeah.
You couldn't pay me enough because I already did.
It's because it's hot in here.
Yeah.
Do y'all not have air conditioners up there?
We don't need
We
air
haven't needed
conditioner,
one.
actually.
Fortunately. I don't know if we
have a
it.
heater.
We don't know if we have it, honestly.
One day it might start getting cool.
You see, that like I could never live without an air conditioner.
But we haven't needed it.
Well, you could. Like in San Francisco, the temperature goes over 80 degrees like 2 times a year. And it fluctuates between 60 and 80. There's just no need for an air conditioner.
Well, there's also the ocean breeze there too.
Right. That's why it's so cool.
Same in Portsmouth.
And moderated.
But like here in the middle of nowhere, Texas, it is scorching.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Well, you're in the desert.
Do you have to use like baby powder on your balls?
No, it's because I have air conditioners. I have one. I have a big one, and then I have one for the whole house.
Look at me like that's weird.
I've never heard of that. Usually, I put my balls in a sack
Dale
of
does
ice.
that.
Dale's kind of crazy.
I usually put it in someone else's mouth.
It's a good idea.
And their mouth is full of baby powder.
Or like that powder you get out of baby bottle pops, like the candy.
Baby bottle pop, baby bottle pop.
That stuff was the
Crack
best.
for kids.
Crack for kids. No, candy cigarettes. You remember those?
I'd remember them.
Oh yeah,
I'm at a pack a
I
day.
smoke too.
Oh, those are the best.
Sound the alarm. That is it.
I hate this alarm.
Oh,
We didn't play any sticker game.
those
I
are
came up-
stickers. Those are Bitcoin flyers.
I have stickers, but I came up.
Oh,
with
I want to see a bunch of hot guys at PorkFest. Start getting ready. Start working out. Take your clothes off. Get your drugs. Time for PorkFest. I want to see you there.
I'm not the hottest, so you'll have to deal with me.
All right, don't eat for the next 3 weeks.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying
Thanks
to
for
figure out
joining us, Remington.
Oh, a pleasure. A
Hey,
pleasure,
Remington.
darling. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Ian had some feedback about our broadcast that if you have any kind of a bass boost, he said that you were a little bit difficult to hear because it sounded so bassy.
Really?
I mean, I like it as,
No, that's my natural voice.
as an artistic choice. I know, but do you have any kind of bass boost on your microphone or on your mixer or anything?
No, there's something I could probably do in post. Because my microphone sounds different from when I'm like Skyping someone and when I'm using it like.
So no, that's
voiceover.
just your voice. Ian's like, your voice is wrong.
My voice is wrong.
I don't think so. He just wants to help. He just said
Yeah.
it was kind of hard to understand him.
Well, see, in my professional voiceover, I don't usually go into this range. I'm usually the happy-go-lucky. This is Channel 5 kind of.
Oh yeah, you're way up there.
Oh, and also during your voice work, you're not trying to talk over two guys on the other
Right.
end of a long
We might
connection.
We might try Fiend Phone.
Fiend phone.
think that would
Oh,
be-
that would be so
I
complicated.
think that
complex.
it would be. It doesn't have to be.
Fiend phone.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm gonna edit
Windows.
this episode up. I'm gonna chop it up. Thanks for hanging in there when we had a few technical issues, but I think everything worked out. We
Don't
got
worry.
nice, clean audio.
I can't wait for boss. No, how will that situation work? Like
Boston?
yes. How will I sleep on the floor?
Well, I think we're going to get a place to stay in Boston on Saturday night,
Yeah, we're gonna stay at a hotel or something.
and then
Airbnb.
yeah, and
And then we're leaving from there. That's Saturday night.
Sunday is the start of PorkFest.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm gonna set up the Free Coast Radio Media Room.
So the answer to your question is we're all going to sleep on the floor.
Okay, good.
I don't know yet. I haven't found a place to stay, but well, we'll find something to make that's comfortable for everyone.
I've slept in cars. I've slept on the ground. I can sleep anywhere.
We can rent a hotel. Expedia.com takes Bitcoin for hotels.
Really?
Rent any hotel basically on Expedia for Bitcoin.
That is revolutionary.
What do you mean any hotel basically? Because some they only let you book.
Some of those ones down in Argentina
Yeah.
didn't really do. Oh, that was weird.
It's a shame too, because Argentina could use some Bitcoin.
Oh my God, could they? Well, I'm sure Expedia is the one that's keeping the Bitcoin. They're just sending on the fiat down to Argentina or whatever.
Fighting the good fight.
I'm excited for Boston too. It's coming up faster than I can believe.
The day after my birthday.
From now or something? Oh
The
my
day
God.
after your birthday?
Yeah, my birthday's on the 17th.
Well, the birthday really lasts a week to a month, in my opinion. So it is your birthday.
Hey, happy birthday.
Yeah.
You're gonna be 13. Is that right?
No. I'll be officially turning a good age.
Okay.
I'll be turning an age.
You'll be turning 69.
A lady never asks.
A gentleman never asks, and a lady never tells.
Ladies don't do any of it.
I guess I'm a lady. Just a very deep voiced lady. 6'3".
Have you ever done drag? Do you have a drag persona?
You know, for a boyfriend once I wore women's clothing, and I'm not against it.
Hot.
Yeah, I can see you in a dress. In fact, I have a dress that I can see you in.
I can probably fit in your clothes.
Steven looks good in a dress. Well, hey, I got to chop up this episode. It was so good to hang out with you. I will see you in Boston, if not sooner. for another episode. And thanks for making this background. It looks crazy cool.
Just give me the topics ahead of time next Thursday, and I'll make a new one.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right.
And I'll also make a generic one. So.
Oh yeah, thanks.
You're very welcome.
Good
night.
Good night. See ya.
Bum, 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 bum.